All right, next topic is franchise mode discussion. Now, who want to talk about franchise mode and who would take Ray Allen number one with their franchise mode pick if you were doing a fantasy draft? Nobody. 81. 81 will. Yeah. Nobody would. Nobody. 198 said nobody would take Ray Allen with the number one pick. No, basically, there's a lot going on right now with to me with franchise modes. Um, um, it's it looks like we're starting to get like a little bit of a resurgence with with the with just companies paying attention to franchise mode, and it's shockingly enough, Madden is kind of leading the way.
Mhm.
It's they are showing a little bit more interest in franchise mode than they have in the last 4 or 5 years. And I think that I don't know. We'll see if that. I mean, well, 2K's been doing it all along, so I don't know if definitely MLB The Show needs to pick up the slack there, but I don't know. It's definitely something that I would like to see because that's my favorite style of game mode. But well, I don't know. I know that's not necessarily something that you play consistently, but I know there are a lot of people who um, I think a part of I don't know what audience you necessarily want to say, but definitely there's still a lot of franchise gamers out there.
Mhm. I mean, it depends on the game you're talking about. I think with the surge of these my team, style modes, the card game modes, a lot of the 5-on-5 crowd has moved over there, and the statistics for 2K bear that out. We don't have exact numbers; they're not releasing those numbers, but from what we hear from our inside sources, who we shall not be named, bizarre, um, there's a lot more park, uh, pro am, my career, and my team players than franchise players, which is why I think the future of franchise modes is more integration. 2K actually took a step forward this year in my career with the team takeover and the benefits of being a 90 above 90 in the game because you can control trades, you can control free agent acquisitions, and when you're in takeover, you control all 5-year players. So for all intents and purposes, you're playing a percentage of a more franchise-like mode in your my career. Madden has always had this with connected careers, but they're more the inverse, where the actual my career part of Madden is really just player lock for the most part. Um, I think the future is bringing those two experiences together and giving us freedom and access to these things. Because imagine if my career people could do everything franchise mode people could do. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think 2K has an inherent prejudice against that. And I think 2K in particular, to focus on them for a second, needs to get away from the idea that my career needs to be this difficult thing. It's not difficult. All right. You can look up on the internet and see any method for breaking my career every year. You guys can waste time fighting that, or you can make this more fun. I say go with more fun. You can keep it challenging in its own ways, but make it more fun. And if we could do my career and franchise at the same time, I think people would be more interested in doing franchise because they'd be so used to those features. They go, okay, I'm going to keep my career character, but I want to do this with another team. I want to control this aspect of it and not have it as separated. I think as the franchise modes have developed over the years, as the my career modes have developed over the years, they've kind of gone from being the same thing originally, where franchise you could just player lock and franchise that was as good as it got. They separated where my career had its own features, franchise had its own features. To where I think they need to come a little bit more together now. Maybe there's a version of franchise mode that's more specialized. Maybe there's a version of my career that's more specialized, but I think the main game should be an integrated version of the two. And I think for a lot of these games, Madden, which struggles with connected careers and the features, uh, MLB The Show, which I've heard you and Jason Battle and Los say that Road to the Show could use more features. I think they wouldn't have to waste resources if those modes just had more access between the two of them. Does that make sense to you?
Um, yeah, but I don't necessarily want the blend. I mean, I wouldn't mind having the option,
Well, it's
but
already blended.
what do you mean?
Because if you do a franchise mode and you player lock,
Hmm.
that is effectively more of a my career experience in your franchise. It's already blended. It's the same thing like with my career. If I do my career, but I control all five people and I control trades and free agents, that's more of the franchise mode. So they're already being blended and people are enjoying the freedom of those blends. So we're talking about what kind of freedom do you want taken away from you?
Well, I don't know how many people take advantage of that, especially with the my career aspect and playing with all five teams. I don't know. I haven't
No, no,
seen
all
that happen.
five players.
I
All
That's what I
five
meant.
players.
That's what I meant. All five players. I haven't
Everybody does it.
take
Look
and
at
they you when I'm saying like, and you literally play it like you would play at 1v1, like, or a regular exhibition game.
yeah. You control all five players when you get team takeover.
Oh, yeah. Okay, when you get team takeover, I meant
Yeah,
just
yeah.
in general, just like, okay, no, that's what I meant. So eh, I still see the thing. Here's the thing, and I think this is what a lot of, like, if you're not like a franchise head, right? The thing about franchise that is the most magnetic is not what happens while the game during the games. That's not it. It's the off season. That is essentially why you play franchise mode. You play franchise mode to get to the off season, to do all of your GM type stuff. That's the draw. That's what makes you like, yeah, this is dope. That's what does it for you. If so, blending all of that stuff from a gameplay standpoint, that's cool. It's cool, and like I said, having the option to do it is great. But really giving people those sandbox, that sandbox feeling of being able to recreate their entire leagues and do all of these different stuff and be creative with that. That is where you get the most pure franchise enjoyment.
Let me throw something at you. All right. Say you're playing one of these games. Doesn't matter which one. And you're doing an expansion team. And you know it's going to be a struggle in the beginning. You're just trying to get your assets together. You're doing your
Mhm,
thing. And 3 seasons in, you think you're about to be a playoff level team. And then going into that third season, you're like, I'm gonna play more of these games personally, right? And so at the beginning of that season, you click the option start a my career.
mhm,
So one of the players in your what you call it in on your roster is a my career slot. You do the
mhm,
whole thing. You create a player, low stats, you develop it on your own. You're gonna player lock that player, but you're doing this now with your franchise team. And
mhm,
for that season, you develop that player. You get to the playoffs. You do your thing. You play that player online in whatever my career modes are available to that particular game. And then you go, you know what? I'm done with that player. And then I trade him and he's gone. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just about giving you the option to jump in and jump out. Because I think you say it's about the offseason. In my personal experience, when I was a franchise mode player, which was my 2K experience for up until about 2K9. So from all of the NBA live games up until 2K9, everything was franchise mode, expansion teams, the whole deal, right? Then when my career came out, I slowly started doing less franchise, and my career became my main thing as far as playing against the computer. For me, it was always about choosing what role to play at one time. Some games I wanted to play because it would be more fun or more interesting from a gameplay standpoint based on what I'd done. Sometimes the season, if the team was too good, there's no reason to play, right? So it's just about simming through that and doing off-season stuff to maintain greatness or what have you once you get to that level. And the jump in, jump out from being a player to being a coach to being a GM to being an owner, that's the beauty of franchise mode. Not just the offseason, not just GMing and stuff like that. It's really being able to do all of those things. And so what I'm saying is if they advocate for more freedom in these modes, they can have the best of both worlds. And franchise players actually be happier with it because if your my career players are playing the game more and enjoying the game more because of the franchise options they're getting, then your franchise players are benefiting, getting the runoff from that bigger player population.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the concept, but as I was saying, I do still think that I like what you're saying because the fact of the matter is the way that I enjoy franchise and the way like hardcore long time franchise mode fans enjoy that or enjoy the concept. That's not going to be something that's going to live a long time with this current generation and future generations. So if you still want to have franchise in there and have it have all of the different levels that it'll have, you're going to have to do some of these things that you're talking about. So I totally and 100% agree with that because it is about that interpolation between different modes and that sort of thing. You got to have that crossover because how do you attract someone to something that they never tried? You put it in something that they always do,
And
you know.
to go in with that, part of the integration is also the game economy, right?
Hmm.
So if one of the reasons I don't play my team is because that's time I could be spending on my player, and I don't earn VC in my team.
Hmm.
So I can't even say, well, after 2 weeks of my team games, I can forget about my deck and change my mind and go make a brand new my career player. I can't do that. All of the economy stays in that mode. I can do the reverse, but I can't do it both ways. And with the franchise mode, there's a similar thing. There's not really an integration there. If you integrate the features, you can also have the freedom to integrate the economy. So imagine if now they've done it with my career, right? You get these my team packs for getting your player up to a 90. Now that's not a whole lot, but I'll tell
Hmm.
you what, for making a bunch of characters and having several 90s, my deck is better than it would have been had I just started. It's not a good deck, but it'd be nice if, say, two guys play. One guy plays my career for a month straight, and another guy plays my team for a month straight, and another guy plays franchise for a month straight. Each of those people could switch to any of the other two modes they didn't play and have 50 to 65% of an economy bonus so that they're not forced to choose which game they want to play entirely. Is another reason that I would have integration. So you can integrate the economy because it's not just about preference, it's also about time,
Yeah.
right? Like
Hmm.
I'm on a deadline right now, so I don't have a lot of time to play video games. So if I play 2K, I'm doing a couple of pro am games and I'm out. If I want to play next time, there's not a whole lot I can take from those pro am games and put into my league or put into my team to encourage me to play those modes. I have to choose to start from zero on every single mode. I think they need to get rid of that. I think we're past that. And the lack of integration is stunting the growth of the less popular modes, both from a feature standpoint, a popularity standpoint, and lastly, also from an economy standpoint in terms of in-game economy. If the in-game economy could be game, when everybody gets frustrated with pro-am or their deck is finished in my team, nobody's online, or the packs that are live is not something they're interested in. If they had a reason to put that time and effort into my league, knowing that, oh, well, I'm going to get some my team tokens from this. And the stuff that I'm not using, I can sell these cards and use these cards in my franchise in some way as a bonus for whatever. I think the game itself would get bigger and have more life
Yeah.
across. And I think for all of these games, it's like that.
Yeah, I've actually said the same thing before in articles and in videos that there needs to be some incentive in my league that crosses over with my team and my career. I even made the suggestion that if you win a championship in my league, there should be a significant VC bonus or a
Hmm.
significant my team reward that you can automatically apply to your my team or automatically apply to your my player that would incentivize somebody to play. And once they're playing, they're more than likely, if you like my team, more than likely you can get some enjoyment out of playing franchise mode because
Hmm.
it's essentially the same type of game, you know. So I know I definitely agree with that. I'm just happy to see, um, like I said, with EA, with face of the franchise and the things that they did on with their franchise mode, even though there are still some things that they're missing. I really like seeing them make it or appear to make it a priority.
Hmm.
I dig it. I dig that. So